Think we are. Hello! Hello, everyone. Hopefully it's all working. As always, let me know in the chat. But yeah, welcome back to another epic Send It stream. We're back with a bang today. I've also got two drinks today. We've got water. Cheers, ma'am. Water and the cup of tea. You know, can't forget the cup of tea, everyone. So we don't have any mishaps like last time. But yeah, how are we all doing? Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully everything's running okay. And yeah, it's nice to see so many of you waiting for me to start as well. Loads of names in here who I'm recognising. And I'll read through all the names in the chat. Yeah, we'll get on with things. There's quite a lot to show you today. You know, I've been a busy guy getting everything together. But yeah, hopefully it's a good stream. Hopefully a good, enjoyable stream. Back to my normal self. Back to the happy-go-lucky guy I always am. So, yeah, I've got a few bits to show you as well in a bit, you know. I'm sure some of you can guess what that is. But yeah, we'll get started and we'll see how we get on. So, we'll see who is in here. Wow, 29 of you already in here. Well, that's pretty good. I'm just gonna pop the chat out so I can read it, and I'll bring something up to look at. We've got the GFS 12Z to look at, but I want to be able to read the chat. So I'll do a quick read of the chat, see who we've got in here, and we'll get straight on. Don't spoil it, Jacob. I just saw that. But yeah, we've got some things to show you later on in the stream. I hope you all enjoy it. So we've got, first one in here was Tom. Hello to you. John Easy Sense, trying to stay awake. Don't worry about it, I won't bother. Chris A, always here as well. Hello to you. Chris A, Barb Mac, the lovely Barb Mac. James, the mod James. We've got Danny V as well in the chat as well, moderating, just in case there's any mishaps, which I'm sure there won't be. You lot are great anyway. Hello to Lynette and Paul James as well, of course. You know, always here. And of course, Jacob, Max, Jessica Drury, nice to see you on the live stream, and Marco as well. Plenty of names in here. Lovely to see. On the Rise 25, hello to you. And of course, Laura Johnson is in here as well. Oh, and David Aitchinson. Loads of you in here today. Julie says, I hope you're feeling better. I am feeling better, that's for sure. Than I was a few days ago. I had a bug for about a week and a half. It was pretty crazy. I'd get rid of it for a day and then it'd come straight back. So, yeah, it was pretty bad to record videos during that time. And if you remember last week's stream, it was a bit of a shambles, but we're not having any of their mishaps this time because I've got the both drinks here. So, we should be okay and good to go. Hoping for snow this new year? Well, I'm sure you are. You always will be. So we'll start by looking at the main model runs to see what they are showing from the latest GFS GM and the ECM WF. Quick drink. We'll go for the water. Water's safer, innit? Smells actually quite nice. So, starting off then with the latest GFS 12Z run. Hopefully you like the new t-shirt, by the way. And we've got low pressure up to the north between Iceland and Scotland, and higher pressure is centred to the south, and winds are in from a westerly direction. Expect to see this t-shirt a lot in the winter videos, which there's a lot of them, so yeah, it might be getting worn quite a few times. But as we go into the early part of next week, so wettest in the north and the west. As we go into the early part of next week, higher pressure sat over France and Italy, and we are bringing in a mild southwesterly airflow with that, so pretty mild. We do have an area of low pressure pushing through on Wednesday, which will bring unsettled conditions, particularly to the north and the west. James, I'm looking at your shed. And then it turns drier as higher pressure builds through the country into the second week of November. You can just see an area of higher pressure over and just to the east of the UK, and with that we're bringing in the wind from a southerly direction. Areas of low pressure sliding around Greenland and Iceland at this point. So pretty mild there. Pretty mild, not too much going on really. Kind of just a bit mild. Do have brief unsettled periods, but they don't last too long. Into day 10 range and beyond. Can see higher pressure trying to build towards Scandi. We're trying to send it to Scandi and bring in an easterly flow. You can see some quite cold air over Siberia and western Russia, but we don't tap into that as you'd expect. But you can see higher pressure generally building around the UK, so bit high pressure of doom-like, basically building through the UK by the 17th of November. Pretty settled, maybe from frosty nights in places, but that's a pretty mild picture. Winds are coming in from the high pressure, so it's a weird direction. It's like a northwesterly flow, but it's not really. We're just kind of under the high pressure, so pretty dry, pretty drab, maybe a few frosts, but yeah, it looks pretty bare bones pattern, really. Not too much going on there. Temperatures there, though, 10 degrees on average, so pretty mild. It's mild, really. That's all you can say. Not too much going on there. Moving on to the GEM, we have higher pressure to the south, lower pressure out to the north and west. We've got an area of low pressure pushing through on Wednesday. That's going to bring in some unsettled conditions, particularly to central and northern Britain on this run. So a little bit different, but probably most likely northern regions. Before by day 10, Saturday, we get a brief ridge fielding through before another area of low pressure pushes through the country into the early part of the week after next, I should say, and that looks quite unsettled and quite wet. So basically, wet weather and quite mild for the next week to 10 days, pretty much. And we've also got the ECM updated, which is quite rare. That's due to the GMT change, so an hour earlier the charts come out, so that's brilliant for Send It streams. You can see them all. Got higher pressure again to the east and southeast, winds in from southwesterly direction. And going beyond again, areas of low pressure pushing in at times. Not too much happening there until, which is quite interesting at the end of the run, higher pressure ridging up to the north and west. Maybe are we going to send it up towards Greenland? Possibly. Low pressure over to the east. Winds might turn into a northerly direction. But we do have heights still built up to the south, so that could be trying to bring up southwesterly flow. So a little bit of a battleground there, but probably the mild air would win, let's be honest. Mild air always wins in these scenarios. Even into everyone in here as well. I'm just having a read through the chat. ECM not updated yet. This is the latest one. It's not fully updated to 360 hours, but it has updated a bit. Hello to Andrew as well. I've just seen your name pop up in the chat. How are you doing? I hope you're doing all right. Right, let me just see. Good evening, train on nature. Yep. James, my thoughts. First half of December, we'll get off a northerly start, followed by an SSW mid-December. That would definitely throw a spanner into the works, James. For the second half, then January, a few weeks of beast from the east, then end at the last week before mild for Feb. Interesting thoughts, James. Obviously, it's a bit far out to say if there would be an SSW or anything like that, sudden stratospheric warmings. So, yeah, of course, we'll see what time brings. Still think end of November, last 10 days of November have potential for cold days, and then first half of December. But before after that, probably nondescript January, and maybe colder into the last half of Feb. Nondescript January probably means stormy conditions, is my prediction. I've always said that. Stick to your guns. Wants to show you this AI ECM run, which is the ECM's brother, probably the better brother, the better behaved one is the more reliable model. This one is very interesting in the final frames because it has higher pressure by around day 10, day 11, building up to the north and the west of the UK. But of course, we've still got a ridge over the top of the UK and just to the south with low pressure in the North Atlantic. But as you can see, high pressure really gets going towards Greenland, and we push the areas of low pressure into parts of Portugal and Spain, and the higher pressure begins to retrogress in the Atlantic and really gets going at this point. You can see that heights are rising towards Greenland and Iceland, and we're beginning to tap into some cooler air or colder air from the north and northeast. The air's originating from Scandinavia and the Nordic regions, and you can see over on the near continent we've got -5 and the -10 line through Eastern Europe, so pretty cold there. Conditions could potentially move in if we went a few days beyond that. Unfortunately, you can see that the air's originating more from a north easterly, not a proper easterly, so it might actually be tapping into the air near Greenland, and that isn't that cold. Need that higher pressure to properly move out to the west to bring down that cold air from the east-northeast, but it's not doing that at this point. So definitely things to watch out for, a few things to watch out for, but there's some definitely interesting signs maybe into that latter half of November. Might be coming up. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. It's the UK, of course. Things change all the time. Very boring first half, but I have hope it might get cold in the middle to late. Fisk, That's what we all hope, isn't it? How you doing, bro? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right, bro. How are you, Mark? We'll see. See which one's right. VitD tabs, it says 1 a day, take 2, keep your VitD levels up. I probably just need some iron. That's probably what I need, if I'm being honest. No idea. Hello to Metsuit. Love the new name change. Hello in the background. I know it's not new, but some people might not have seen it. Hello in the background. Yeah, hello to you. I hope you're doing alright. Right, moving on then to the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. Basically, if this is in a positive phase, and I'll quickly explain it. If it's in a positive phase, a positive NAO indicates, well, the boring stuff, the low pressure systems through the UK, or high pressure dominated. Sometimes we can see we have been for the last few weeks in a negative NAO phase, but it's just been areas of low pressure, areas of high pressure just being built over the UK. But you can see into the start of November, unfortunately, for you coldies, for the first half of November, which is what we're seeing from the model output, we are in a positive NAO phase. Basically, higher pressure to the south and lower pressure to the north, and that brings in a westerly flow. The pest from the west reigns supreme, and that's the sort of thing that we're seeing. Areas of low pressure continually pushing in. Basically, the deluge never stops for the next couple of weeks with that one. So there you go. We're following similar trend to November 2010, started very wet and mild, and around mid to late November it got very cold. That is very true. It was a very late bloomer, especially in the output. It's happened, was it 23rd of November or something? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had low pressure systems moving in, and all of a sudden one day it turned cold. Feels weird to be in November. Bought some Christmas decorations today. Fisk, what you doing? It's November. It's the first day. We don't need to be buying Christmas stuff. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. I was just watching Strictly. Who watches that? I'm joking. I'm joking. Should be watching my stream, so... No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Right. Well, I thought that, as we're at, like, the 15-minute mark, I thought I'd show off the bundles. I did preempt this, and that'll be showing you a few bundles. So, obviously, if you don't know, if you're not on the Discord, I've released some Send It merch, and James helped to do all this, so cheers to James for making it for me. But yeah, we've got a few bundles out now. So the first one is you get a mug, so a Send It mug in either red, green or blue, and you can also get a coaster, and that is £15, and that includes postage and packaging, of course. You know, expenses these days. Yeah, that includes postage and packaging, but I don't think that's too bad at all. But then the bigger deal, so you can buy a cup on its own as well for £13.50. With a coaster, it's £15. But then the big deal is that you can get a mouse mat. You can get a mouse mat. That's brilliant. A mouse mat, a coaster, a pen, which, by the way, these are really cool. A pen, and a mug for £20, including obviously postage and packaging. UK only. If there are overseas, if there were overseas fees, nice rhyme. Didn't mean to do it. Then yeah, that's UK prices. But yeah, just thought I'd bring that up. And if you are interested, then please send the either £13.50 for the mug, £15 with the coaster, or £20 including the mug, the coaster, the pen, and the mouse mat. So there you go, and send it to the PayPal, which is paypal.me/senditsweather. So thank you very much for that, and there you go. I'll quickly show that out, and that's something to think about. Maybe you could get it as a Christmas present for your girlfriend. I don't know. It's something to consider. Something to consider. Anyway, moving on with the stream. That's up to you if you want to support the channel and get yourself some merch. But we've got limited stock on that. Anyway, moving on to the current snow and ice extent across the Northern Hemisphere. You can see the UK just there. This is from yesterday, the 31st of October. And as you can see, we've got extent of snow cover across parts of Alaska and Canada, and particularly across western Russia. We're seeing quite large snow and ice extent. Across parts of Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, for example, we are seeing some snow cover, but definitely reduced compared to previous years, which can be a good or bad sign, depending on how you look at it. So there you go. Show them the mugs. Oh yeah, I can do. Sorry. Yeah, there's the mugs. there's mine, the green one, which is really cool. For some reason the camera blurs it out, but I can't adjust that. But yeah, that's the green one. If you are interested in that, it does. Why does it blur it? Oh yeah, go on Discord. I forgot about that. Yeah, forgot about that. Let me see if I've got a picture of them. Oh yeah. Right, let me just save the image, and then I can just put it on the stream. Then you can see it, can't you? Right, there we go. Forgot about that. Forgot about that. Right, go to image, add image, and then zoom it out. There you go. There you go. Right, I'll just have to do that. Why is it so big? Oh dear. Right. I'm fixing. Cheers. But yeah, there you go. There's the blue one there, the orange one, the red, and the green. Now, of course, the orange one was limited edition, and it has gone. But the other three are still available, so... but they're in limited supply, but if they did run out, then it wouldn't be too much of a problem. But yeah, there you go. That's that. There you go. That's that one. So yeah, if you're interested, copy yourself one, paypal.me/senditsweather. But anyway... Moving on then to the snow and ice charts are a little bit weaker than what you'd hope for at this time of year. You'd hope for a little bit more extent across the Scandinavian regions, the Nordic regions, but unfortunately that's not the case this year. Right then, moving on to the CFS V2 for the next few months. You can see this is for November, and look away if you want cold. It has higher pressure over to the east of the UK. And lower pressure out to the west, and winds are in from a southerly direction. Oh, that is a very disappointing run, really. You like the cup? Cheers. You like the cups? I do appreciate it. Yeah, James did a good job on them. He always does a good job. John says he likes the red one. Full set will be... Well, you can cop them if you want. It will be a bit expensive, though. But yeah, you could get the full set. So yeah. Anyway, moving on then to December. We've got higher pressure. This could be interesting. Higher pressure over and just to the northeast of the UK. Winds may be in from an easterly direction, so cold snap potential at times. But you do need the higher pressure further to the northeast, so up towards Scandinavia. We need to send it to Scandi and bring in a proper easterly wind. We're not quite doing that at this stage, so wouldn't quite be good enough in that scenario. And then moving on to January, we have higher pressure, basically northern blocking features to the north, but we also have a ridge to the south. So could be trying to bring colder air into the north, but slightly milder air into the south, courtesy of that high pressure sat to the south of the UK. And into February, well, write that one off as well, because it's got low pressure over the top of the UK. Very unsettled and quite stormy conditions for February. Not good for either if you like mild or cold, really. Definitely not. Heading into March, long way off, but you can see higher pressure then gets going, blocking properly to the north, and then we see a northeasterly wind, which will be very typical for the UK's weather patterns. So there you go. That's the CFS V2 today. So interesting December and January, but February and November complete write-offs. Moving on to the GFS ensembles for the polar vortex. Under 10 HPA, so that is in the stratosphere, so above the atmosphere, in the stratosphere, 10 HPA, which is basically, all that basically means it's really high in the atmosphere, and this is the PV, or the polar vortex, which begins to form throughout the autumn and winter season. Now, as you can see, its current position is here, and the thick black line represents represents the average, which we normally see the strength of throughout the years. But as you can see, we've been slightly weaker than average with the polar vortex strength. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we are seeing quite a significant trend from the GFS members, or the GFS ensembles, to form a slightly, or to turn the polar vortex into a stronger than average polar vortex for the time of year, and that could really power up low pressure systems and could turn things very unsettled and could collapse things if that comes off. What we really want to see is a big collapse. We want to see these green lines go like this, and then we're sorted. Because if we get a reversal of the polar vortex, if we see a reversal of zonal winds, then that could lead to colder conditions. We see the low pressures shift southwards or disappear. Just poof, they just disappear, and then we're in business. So then, moving on to the latest GFS, this is what I'm going to show you. This is the polar vortex at its roots. Yellow cups of possibility. Yeah, if you like the shirts, might have to make that one happen as well. It sounds like there's a lot of interest in the chat for the stuff. I'm quite surprised actually, seeing as I promoted it in an absolutely awful way that I normally do, because I'm really bad at doing that, and I'm quite embarrassed to show things, and I don't know why I am. Maybe because it's got my bloody branding on it, it's got my stuff on it. I'm pretty bad at promoting things, but that's always been the case with me. But anyway, this is the polar vortex at its roots, forecast for the 9th of November. And this is the polar vortex sat at about minus 80 degrees at its core. So, prettily cold if it was over the UK. We'd all love that, wouldn't we? About minus 50 degree high temperatures. But this is well up in the atmosphere. And this is sat over basically the North Pole. But as you can see, something maybe significant could be developing over towards Siberia, because you can see a little bit of a warming getting place. Now, if that warming was to move towards the polar vortex and begin to weaken it, then we could see a reversal or maybe even a split, which is where this big blue splits in half, and that's when you could see cold potential. Now, on this run, which of course is very early in the season, 15th of November, so you wouldn't expect too much, but you can see this warming over Siberia begins to intensify, but the polar vortex also continues to intensify. We also get another minor warming to the south of the polar vortex, but the warming over Siberia continues to gather pace. It's nothing too significant to disrupt it, but you can see it is beginning to gather strength. So possibly could that continue to grow into the final weeks of November and move towards the polar vortex, causing a split, and then who knows what could happen. Well, who knows what could happen with that one, because it's just a prediction. But you never know, there could be some interest into the start of December. I have heard about a mid-December SSW, which is a sudden stratospheric warming and can lead to colder and blocked conditions into December, or maybe even the start of January. But I've got to be honest, I cannot see it happening this year. I don't see it being an SSW winter at all. But yeah, let me know what you think. The word average being used millions of times this year by weather folks. It really has. Do you sell jumper with hood? Maybe I could. Show your t-shirts closer to the camera. Okay. There you go. It's a bit hard to see, but yeah, send it to Scandi. T-shirt. It's a bit hard to see. I can't really do it any other way. But yeah. Moving on to the CFS, our favourite winter run, the Can't Forecast Snow Run. We have high pressure moving through the UK. It's a very high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north for much of this period. Very mild, wet and windy. Oh dear, moving through. It's very mild for November. Into start December, we get a brief cold snap with an area of low pressure moving to the east after bringing its unsettled conditions, and it's very mild. A very mild start to December. Just mild, really mild. High pressure basically dominating to the south and southwest, and bringing up southwesterly winds for much of the period. So not great there for coldies. But then into the start of end of December, start of January, we do see a brief easterly flow moving in, but not too much cold air to tap into, so we kind of avoid all that. And then we're back into low pressure fest of hell. Low pressure continues to move in from off the Atlantic. Do see a brief building of heights towards Scandi. which could bring in some easterly winds, but they are very short-lived by the looks of things. Don't last too long before Atlantic weather systems are back in from off the Atlantic, and we're back off and running into an unsettled spell. Again, higher pressure trying to go into the east and doesn't quite make it. So we just remain pretty dry, cold, maybe a little bit unsettled. These northerly shots don't last too long on these runs at all. It really just diminish very quickly before higher pressure again returning over top of the UK. Then we get the proper cold stuff into the middle of March, as you'd expect, very cold conditions. Into the middle of March when it doesn't even matter because it won't be that cold and all the snow that falls will just disappear within minutes. But basically this winter would be very boring, high pressure of doom, with plenty of low pressure moving through at times. So yeah, it would be a very write-off winter, that one, definitely. Very uninteresting. Oh yes, to send it to Scandi, pens come in 3 colours, green, blue and black. Send it to Scandi, a trademark. Yeah. Do frost reports in shorts, Matt, and add #gardening so that to frost reports for gardeners. Yeah, I could actually do something like that. I haven't really investigated in shorts. I haven't really investigated in shorts that much. I did one and it was really embarrassing. But maybe it's something I should consider doing something like that. Disappointing again. Yeah, winter 2013-14 type winter. That was a very very disappointing winter, that one. Definitely. I'm looking forward to a cold December. Can't wait. Well, I ain't confirmed that yet, but that's what I'm going for. Well, end of November, start December. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to show you today. I said it wasn't going to be a ridiculously long stream, but yeah, hopefully you did enjoy. Cheers to everyone that's joined in. There's not too much going on, to be honest, at the moment with the weather system. Oh wait, I tell a lie. I did have one final thing. This is the CanSIPs longer range model, weather model. And this will take us through the winter period. So this one might pique your interest. I'm actually not sure what it shows yet, because it only came out yesterday. Well, this is what it's showing for November. Higher pressure blocking up towards Greenland and low pressure over into the east of the country. Could that back the wind into a northerly direction? That could be quite cold. Could be quite a cold month. December, oh, that looks quite good actually. High pressure in the North Atlantic up towards Greenland and extending towards Scandinavia, and around that winds are in from a northeasterly direction, so that equally looks quite cold and blocked and maybe even wintry in the south and the southeast. January is where things fall apart. We've got higher pressure over into the south, well, over into the east of the country, low pressure to the west, and winds are in from a westerly direction. That is more like it. February strengthens the high pressure over the top of the UK with low pressure to the north, another mild month. And then March, higher pressure over the top of the UK and over Western Europe, a very mild month. So it looks like to back up my theory, November and December are the most interesting months to watch out for. That's all you need then. Just listen to my forecast and you won't go wrong. That's what that forecast. What about rest of CFS runs? I'm not looking at them today. Not looking at them today. I need to change my fairy lights because one of the wires is broke. I'm dreading this winter. I'm too old to take the cold now. I'm still planning on going. I know a lot of people don't like the cold, John. I won't worry. It's not happening. It never happens, does it? You know? It never happens in this country. It doesn't matter how much you hope for it. It just doesn't come off, does it? You dread it. Yeah. I need to change my fairy lights. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. We know. We don't need to read that message out to know the truth. But yeah, I think that's everything I had to show you. So yeah, if you are interested, I'll quickly go through all the merch stuff. Hopefully a bit better than I just did. But yeah, so red mug and cup, which again, here's an example of the green one. If you do want one of them, that is £15. That includes the postage and packaging fees, which are £3.50, but £11 on their own. Then obviously we've got the big bundle, which again includes a mug, a coaster, a mouse mat, and a pen for 20 quid, including postage and packaging. So there you go. If you are interested, paypal.me/SandySweather, send it over, and then also put a reference to what colour that you want. So either red, green, or blue. Remember, they are limited and UK only. If you are interested from overseas, then obviously I'd have to find some prices out for you. So email me, which is in my bio description thing, if you are interested. Yeah, Rachel, we'll get yellow sorted out. I'll get James on the phone, and we'll get that sent to you straight away. Yeah, I'll get him to send one down from his shed. Yeah, there you go. Thank you all very much for watching today's stream. I really do hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you are new around here, I'm sure a lot of you are loyal viewers that always watch, and I know a lot of you are as well. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next stream, or video I should say. See you next Saturday on the streams. Bye bye.